Hello and welcome to the video lecture on block diagram of generic microprocessor. First let us understand the different important blocks in the block diagram of generic microprocessor. Now, this is the overall block diagram of the generic microprocessor, and remember that this block diagram is different from the block diagram or internal diagram of 8085 microprocessor. So we are going to learn the block diagram of 8085 microprocessor afterwards, but in this we are only going to discuss the general model or the essential blocks in the microprocessor. So this is the list of an important blocks. The first block is arithmetic and logic unit, then different registers, instruction decoder, timing and control section, interrupt control, and three types of buses. Now let us understand the block diagram thoroughly. Now first, the very important part in the block diagram of this is nothing but an ALU, that is a arithmetic and logic unit. So the part which is highlighted represents your ALU. Now inside the ALU you have the adder. So adder is mainly used to add the two 8-bit numbers for addition as well as for performing the subtraction. But when you perform the subtraction, then it is in the form of a two's complement. So this overall ALU unit is a 8-bit unit where arithmetic and logical operations are carried out. And after performing the operations, it set the different flags according to the resulting answer. So these flags are nothing but it is a status register. So this status register basically contains the different flags, and these flags are nothing but these are the flip-flops which are set or reset according to the data condition in the accumulator. And the generic microprocessor has two flags, zero flag and carry flag. Then you have a complementer and shifter block which will be helpful in doing the rotate instructions or the shift operation from left to right or right to left. Then it has a temporary registers which are mainly used for storing the data temporarily. And then you have a accumulator. So accumulator is mainly used to store the result when the arithmetic and logical operations are performed. So accumulator is nothing but it is again a 8-bit register which is used to store the 8-bit of data. So all this part it comes under the arithmetic and logic unit. Then comes the different buses. So what is a bus basically? So bus is nothing but it is a group of conducting wires which carries the information, and all the peripherals are connected to the microprocessor through this buses. So there are three types of buses: address bus, data bus, and the control bus. So here is a address bus, and the address bus is a group of 16 lines, so which is represented by A0 to A15, and it is a unidirectional. The unidirectional meaning is there is a flow of information only in the one direction, that is from microprocessor unit to peripheral devices. And the microprocessor unit uses this address bus to identify a peripheral or the memory location. Then you have a data bus. So D0 to D7 represents 8-bit of data bus, and it is a group of 8 lines which is used for data flow. And remember that these data lines, they are bidirectional, that is data flow in both the directions between microprocessor and memory and peripheral devices and vice versa. So MPU uses this data bus for transferring the data. Then the third bus is a control bus, and the control bus actually provides the necessary timing and the control signal. So here in the block diagram you can observe these arrows, and these arrows are nothing but these are the you can say it is a control bus for carrying the timing and control signal to all the operations, to carry out all the operations of the microprocessor. So it controls the flow of data between the microprocessor, memory, and the peripheral. The control signals in the bus are IO, M bar, read bar, write bar. So here you can see this write bar, WR bar, read bar. Both are active low signals, and these are nothing but the different control signals. Then the next block is this H and L register. So these H and L registers are two 8-bit registers, and you can use this HL register in combination to form one 16 bit of register. Then the next is the program counter. So program counter is a 16 bit and it is used to store the address of the next memory location, and it normally points or directs to memory location containing the next instruction which is to be executed. So you can, in short, you can say that the program counter is 16-bit register which is used to keep the track of your program execution, and it can be incremented or reset by the control section. Next comes is a stack pointer. Stack pointer is a 16-bit used to store the address of memory which is called as a stack. And this stack is nothing but it is read write memory which is used again for the temporary storage purpose. The next block is the instruction register. So instruction register is mainly a 8-bit register, and the first byte of your instruction is always loaded in this register. So in your program, when you are going to write the different instruction, then the first byte of every instruction is always stored in this instruction register. Then next comes is the instruction decoder. The instruction decoder basically interprets the content of the instruction register, and it determines the exact steps to be followed in executing the entire instruction. So it directs the control section accordingly. So if you can see the flow, the arrow is from the bus to the instruction register and from instruction register to the instruction decoder. So it takes the instruction from the instruction register and decode it by driving the control section, because if you can see this arrow is going outward towards the timing and the control section. Then next is the timing and the control section. So this timing and control section block generates the appropriate signal to control the respective devices in order to execute the particular instruction. So it receives the signal from the instruction decoder to determine the nature of the instruction which is to be executed. And this timing and the control signals are sent to all the parts of the microprocessor. Then next comes is a clock signal. So the clock is nothing but it is a timing signal, and that clock signal is generated with the help of an quartz crystal which is connected between X1 and X2 terminals in the which are the physical pins of your microprocessor. Then you have the interrupt control block. So interrupt is an essential process in microprocessor, and it executes certain steps when the interrupt occurs. So actually we are going to study in detail about the interrupt and other things in our incoming lectures. Now for working of this overall diagram or overall microprocessor, actually it requires the power supply, and that power supply is of 5 volts and ground. So that power supply is shown over here, because unless and until you give the power supply, it is not possible to work your circuit. So this is what is the overall block diagram, or you can say the generic block diagram of the microprocessor. Again, it is a very important question from exam point of view. It is always asked in the exam for 4 marks. So if you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and share the video with your friends. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.